Eric Zuniga. We are National Taste. Today we are going to be interviewing Nestor Rodriguez.
What's up, everyone? How's it going?
So what National Taste is, it's pretty much like a platform where we are interviewing local businessmen and also adding in between a fun game, you know. So the reason it's called National Taste is we're going to have 4 options from 4 different countries, although we will be giving 6 choices, and then Nestor or our guest has to, you know, guess where each item belongs to.
So you know I'm breaking my diet here, right? I'm supposed to be on the diet right now, so people back in my work, forgive me. This is for TV, so I got to do it.
This is number 1. So your options are, you have either Indonesia, Taiwan, Brazil, England, Mexico. And again, your choices again.
Yeah, here we go.
Indonesia, Taiwan, Brazil, England.
And these are the same ones for all of these?
Mexico and Germany. So you have those choices. So one of them has to be, you know that it belongs to one of them.
All right.
And 2 of them are going to be like kind of off. So we're giving you 6 choices, 4 options. So.
All right. I'll go Mexico then.
Mexico? Okay. So actually, that actually belongs to the country of Indonesia.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
It's a country I got to go visit, so all right.
And also one of our questions that we have for you. So in between, we're also going to be asking questions for every item. The first question is, what was your experience like growing up in Madison?
So I didn't necessarily grow up in Madison here. I was actually born in El Salvador and then immigrated when I was 5 to South Central Los Angeles. So it went kind of crazy. In El Salvador, it was during the Civil War, and that's why I kind of left. But in El Salvador, I had a normal life. I was a normal kid. I was raised by my grandparents, actually, so I didn't know my mom. So when I moved to South Central LA, it took me like 2 years to finally decide to stick around with my mom. My grandma had to stay with me because I was like, who's this random lady that's here? So it was tough for her. And then but what I didn't realize was kind of had left like a normal life, even though, you know, Civil War was happening, to South Central LA, where I grew up in kind of impoverished, gang-ridden kind of neighborhood. So I lived in a studio apartment with, I think, 6, 7 relatives. We had 1 bed we all shared. Was on welfare. First, didn't speak English, so I had to go through ESL programs, which was kind of the dumb kid program that they would call it. I didn't recognize that because I got to play games, and that's how I learned English, so I thought it was cool. And then first one to go to high school in my family, so it was pretty tough in terms of not having people around me because my mom was a housekeeper 24/7, so I rarely saw her. Luckily, her employers allowed me to come in and hang out with her while work. So I got to see her a little more often than I would have if they didn't. And then during that 80s too, if you remember, you're probably too young to remember this, but during the 80s there was a lot of racial tension, so black, Latino, white. So there was I remember a lot of fighting with the black community between Latinos and that. And it wasn't actually to the Rodney King riots that everyone kind of came together, at least the minorities did, after we unfortunately burned down our neighborhoods. But we came together and then things kind of changed. So it was interesting. It was, I was a big soccer player growing up. My mom said if I wanted to play soccer, I had to keep my grades up. So she was pretty strict, all 5'3", a foot of her. I was scared, even today when she calls me, I'm still kind of scared of her when she calls me. So I used kind of sports and academics to get me out.
So our second item today, feel free to keep eating them, you know? I mean, you already broke the diet, so might as well, right? At this point, like what it... Okay, so again, so your options are Taiwan. Obviously, Indonesia's out the map now.
Right.
But you have Taiwan, Brazil, England, Mexico, and Germany.
I'll say England in this one.
England?
Yeah. No?
Taiwan.
Oh my God. All right.
And the bright side, you're at least, you know, tasting great food, right? So, okay, our second question also is, what got you interested in your current profession, and how old were you when you decided to make it your career?
So my little sister was actually, we're 10 years apart.
Okay.
She was premature and was in an incubator. I mean, she was tiny. I don't remember exact ounces she was, but I was 10. And she was in incubator for 2 to 3 months at home. So I remember this tiny little thing moving side to side with all these electrodes and all these alarms. So they kind of started asking, what is this? And all I would hear, oh, that's a doctor takes care of that, or medicine is what takes care of that. So then in high school, I started volunteering in hospitals and started liking it because I could deal with people. I was good at science. And then the kind of the prestige I heard for doctors. So I started going down that path. And to be honest, it wasn't until residency, which is after medical school, where I started looking at it as a career. And that's an important distinction that people don't really look about. So before, I thought I was just going to be, you know, my profession is medicine, right? And I could just be an employee of a hospital and just work and then go about my business. But when I looked at it as a career, or more than just being an employer, I was like, what can I use to be the top in my skill set, but then also what other things can I do with this degree and with this skill set? And for me, it was, how can I influence my own people, my own community? How can I do outside of the hospital, and that relates to healthcare? So I started looking at different ways, and as a professional, I would also look at how do I get people like me in my neighborhoods into the careers that I am in, and which all this is extra time. I spent 6.5 years at UW running the residency program for emergency medicine, and I taught a lot of residents. Those are long hours, which a lot of my friends who are doctors were like, why are you spending all the time? You made it. But I think that's what, when you're talking about professional, or you want to give back, it's kind of sacrificing some stuff for the better good of everyone, not just kind of your patients, which is literally would be like if I'm just employed by a hospital.
So when did carbon become a thing? Right?
So for me, so then, yeah, as far as Carbon World Health, so right now, what people don't realize, I'm still full-time emergency medicine, so I still work the grind of being in the hospital full-time. I've chosen Beloit Hospital as my hospital work. The reason being, it's more kind of inner city vibe, and I still get to teach the residents from time to time because it's their community site. But I do like working nights. That's when all the action happens. So I'm an adrenaline junkie, so the worse it is, the better it is for me. So I like that. But then 2.5 years ago, we, with two business partners, not one, we started thinking about, you know, the big thing for me in medicine was like emergency departments are the worst day of their life. And in medicine, we've gotten a lot where we just give pills, or we just talk about once you have a medical problem. And we were looking at how can you address it on the front end and really change all that stuff, because you know, people talk about being healthy or being fit or being in wellness as expensive, but it's not. Wait till you actually get sick. That's a whole world of hurt, especially if you don't have insurance. So we started looking at, okay, what, through all, you know, with Ashley Greer, that's my business partner, she had done a lot of stuff with weight loss and cosmetics. I had done cosmetic stuff, and then dealt with a lot of athletes, and through different associations and things where I was a doctor for. And we looked at what's the difference between them and the average person. And it's just access to these things that they use. So we started thinking about, well, what's the biggest, kind of pardon my language, I guess, pain in the butt in terms of like where to go, is that you have to go to all these different places to get these services. So we're like, why don't we just put all these services that we want to put for health, fitness, and beauty into one shop? And that's where Carbon World Health started. So it's kind of, you come in one door, you could exit the door and have everything there. But it's really to address people, recognizing everyone's busy, everyone has different lifestyles, and it's not good enough to say you just get a gym membership. It's not good enough to say you just go on a diet. You've got to understand that and know what you are, right? I mean, and that's the one thing, honestly, on social media, you could put like, hey, I want to lose weight. You have a million different people saying you should do this, you should do that. They don't know who you are. What if you have medical problems? What if you can't do that? What if that your lifestyle doesn't do that, right? What if you have a family? Yeah, you could carry all your little lunches like around and eat perfectly, but what are your kids gonna eat? What are your family gonna eat? So we take that into account. We're like, you're a person, let's figure it out, let's get you healthier, not just for like a show, or not just for like a summer, you know. For guys, we talk about like once you get in a relationship, everyone jokes around like the dad bod or whatever comes in. You don't have to look good just because, you know, it's not just about looking good. I tell people that's a side effect. If you're healthy and you happen to have a six-pack, sweet. If you're healthy and you don't, it's still good. But you don't, it's not just about, you know, chasing something or having to show something, so.
Okay, nice.
I gotta get these things right over here.
We have two other
like
choices, so you know. So
All
number 3, and we still have Brazil, England, Mexico, and Germany.
assuming it's going to be Mexico or Brazil, but
So what is it gonna be?
I'll go Mexico again.
Well, you were kind of close. You did say
Damn.
Brazil, and it happens to be from the country of Brazil.
I should know better. There I've been. That's why I said it. These are good though.
That's
Take
right.
these. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other question is, why did you choose Madison as a place to start your business?
So Madison kind of unique. There's like, it's crazy because when I came to Madison several years ago, it was between UCLA and Madison for med school. Madison gave me a full ride, so at that time I took it and I ran with it, thinking I was your typical California punk kid. I'm like, California and nothing else exists. And so I was thinking of just med school and getting out of here, but then I learned the community. There's a lot of cool things here. It's just people have to know about it. People know us by sports. People know us maybe some of the arts and healthcare, in my opinion. But there's a place where people need it. I mean, we have high obesity rates. We have the condition kind of throws you off. Like right when the winter comes, everyone kind of disappears because you don't want to do anything. So you have all these conditions that are prime setups for health disparities or health problems. But then at the same time, we're also a fit and young community and kind of bringing it together. The other thing was a lot of these things, honestly, being here, I would just watch it on TV. When I went to LA, it was everywhere. And I would always hear my friends be like, man, I wish it was here, or I wish those things were offered here. So we're like, what better place to offer it here? You know, our plan is to expand to other cities. We know in the other cities this stuff already works. So bringing it here, and you've been to our shop, and it's also giving it that sexy vibe of like, it doesn't have to be like a stale building. You
And
can
see,
have
that's
fun.
one of the things that I've always said is like, if you see something in other states and you like that and you enjoy that, mostly like you an entrepreneur, it's like, okay, so California has this, and you have love for Madison. Why leave to California when you can bring that to Madison? You know?
Right.
If it's like a big thing for you to like leave your state to chase that, why not bring it here? You know.
Right.
As an entrepreneur, like you can create what you want. So why not create in your home?
Yeah, and honestly, I think a lot of it is a fear, because you think it's not like. When we started our business, people were like, it's not gonna succeed here. It's not gonna be like, it's not LA. People don't care about it here. They do. Honestly, you talk about cosmetics.
Yeah, everybody cares.
Everyone does it. Everyone looks at it. Now, it's not LA where in LA, my colleagues or friends that are in the business, they post an Instagram picture and like everyone wants to show off, right?
Yeah.
Here, it's like, I don't want to tell people. Don't tell my friends.
Yeah.
Don't tell people, which is fine.
Which is fine.
But it's not like vanity and like you have to look good. I mean, there's studies that show your income's related to that. It's just reality, right? In terms of how people view you, if you're disheveled versus not. Unfortunately, that's the reality of it. But
mostly with social media, like.
Yeah, you need it, right? You're in the face of people. But no, so I think it's people's fears or they have to leave. And for us, I mean, I can't tell you how many people said, don't do it. People here they're not going to use it. They're not going to need it.
But I feel also
ours is different, and we're like, no, they do need it. It's just we got to educate them about it.
Yeah.
And
it's
like,
a blessing and a curse, when you don't have anything like carbon
right
in the area, you start saying like, okay, now it's a blessing and a curse due to the fact that if capitalized, you're gonna be like blessed.
Right.
But it's a curse because you're gonna have to work a little harder because you're gonna have to market it. You have to like create a culture,
Oh, for sure.
surrounding, which you've done a great job. I've seen that you do camps, you do a lot of great things for the
Yeah, no, that was a fear where we're looking at even now, right? We're getting more and more clients and we're like, what is this? Because people have their gym, right? There's a million gyms in town, and everyone says they do the same thing, but it's completely different when you have a doctor monitoring yours, because what I tell people is you're going to go to a trainer and you're going to give them your medications. They're going to be like, all right, cool. Or you have a medical problem. Okay. They don't have the knowledge behind it to deal with it or to, same with technology, right? Technology is everywhere. It's how you use it. I always joke around with clients. We have heart rate monitor. We use it specifically because we do train pro athletes, so we needed particular data to take out. But if you want to count steps, you don't need, I don't know how much Fitbits are, but you can get a pedometer for $2 and that's it. You don't need this fancy thing to tell you how many steps there is. I know you got one, but I'm saying a lot of people are like, I wish I had it. I can't afford it. You don't need it. If you need how many steps, go buy this thing for like $5.
Yeah,
and you can use that.
True.
So then it's combining all that stuff. So IV drips too. Like people are like, oh, that's for a hangover.
Yeah.
It sure is, and trust me, we've used it for that. Not me personally, maybe, but you can use it for many other things too.
Yeah.
So you have to create that. But I think if you're passionate about it and people see that passion and you care about it, you care about people, you know, it'll come. But it is a big, I mean, it's a big fear, and you know, there's a lot of sleepless nights where you're trying to figure out, man, did I do the right move? Did you not? But you hear that from everyone who made it. You have to go through that kind of learning curve. And I couldn't be happier. In the hospital, it's a different type of feeling. I'm pumped. I get to help people, you know, on their worst day of their life. At Carbon, I get to help people who want to help them, like they want to be healthier for the long term. So it's cool to see that too. And I gotta get one. I need.
So on the right side, you only have 3 options left, you know.
It's
so
killing me.
So now.
By the way, to my defense, I don't eat sweets, so
okay.
I still should be doing better.
So you still have England, Mexico, and Germany.
I figured being Latino, you're gonna throw a Latino one out here, but damn. Which are the options I got?
England, Mexico, and Germany.
I would Germany.
And again, you are incorrect.
Oh my God.
It is actually from the country of England.
All right.
And one of our other question is, what was your experience as a Latino studying in Yale and UW-Madison?
So
Mostly Yale, because you know it's a very hard school to get into. You know.
yeah, no, so Yale was my dream school. It was awesome. I think of all the Ivy Leagues, obviously I'm biased, but they're known to take care of their undergrad. There was a lot of fears going into it because I heard a lot of, minorities are far and few in between there. But they go out of their way to, one, help you financially, but once you're there, to show you that regardless of where you came, now you're a Yaley and you're an alumni, you're part of the university, so they go out of their way to take care of you and to help you out. So I didn't feel, I felt welcome. The first couple of weeks, they actually do this cool thing about breaking stereotypes, about getting to learn people. They're one of the few universities that I know of that make all the freshmen stay in their own particular area. You're broken down into residential colleges. And for me, I don't know why it happened, but I got into the Legacy College. So my roommates had like 4 or 5 generations of people going to Yale. And I happened to be the first one in my family to go to high school and college and to go to that school. But I loved it. Every little bit I went. For me, it's always been like, try something new. You're never going to get the opportunity to it. So I went all out. I joined everything in there. Matter of fact, they had a horse polo team that they had a freshman team where they're like, you don't need experience riding a horse. I'm like, this is kind of weird. So me and my Japanese roommate were like, hey, let's go do it. And we did it. What we quickly realized is that your freshman team clears the poop of the horses for the varsity team. So we let it go after a week, but still it was fun. We got on a horse and they walked us around and had pictures of me playing polo. Then come to, so I think out of all Ivy Leagues, it's great. And then regardless, we always joke around that, regardless of how well you did there, once you graduate, you're from Yale. It's like opens doors like beyond belief. Yeah. The connections that those guys make. But you took the opportunity. I went with it. What I did was what I realized. I went from a good private school there that, the advantages of having certain private schools, or having parents that are involved and parents that can teach you. Because I had to do all the tutoring, I had to do all that, but I quickly learned it's not people that use tutoring or people that do help aren't the dumb people, they're the smart people. In fact, a lot of the people succeeding were in there getting help because they realized it's there for a reason, to take advantage of it. So then one of the things I did for UW, this is gonna sound bad, but I had no idea where Wisconsin was. My coach, a soccer coach at Yale, because I walked on onto the team my second year, he was from here. He was like, you should apply. A couple of buddies were from Milwaukee. They're like, man, Wisconsin's cool, you should apply. And I'm like, I still don't know where it is. But when I came here, we looked, there was like 12 of us from California that got accepted that year. And we all could have gone to California. Like I said, I could have gone to UCLA, but what we said is, like, if we come here, let's do it and open doors for all the Latinos behind us. And we all kind of committed to do that. And that was my big thing when I was there. I'm like, I'm going to come here and do things right and try to open opportunities so that they take risk on other people, because there is a lot of stuff to offer here, and they do a good job of trying to recruit you, but it's like, now when you're here, what else can we do? So spent 4 years trying to get pipeline programs, trying to recruit more, was on an admissions committee, did a lot of stuff to get more us like here. So don't regret it. Now I've been here for years and people are like, don't you want to go back to LA? Eventually, I still get pumped when I fly into LA, but I call Madison my home.
Which is natural, yeah. Okay, so we have one last question.
Okay.
What kind of personal goals are you working towards outside your business right now? Like, what are the plans for Carbon? What are the plans for Nestor?
Yeah, so for Carbon, obviously, is to grow. We're looking at different expansions, different programs. For us at Carbon, it's the client. What do they need? What do they want? And how do we make it better for them? Because we look at it as an experience. You're not just coming at it. You know, people, honestly, sometimes, and most of the guys, I'm like, I got to kick them out from my appointments because I got someone else, because they just want to hang out there, which is cool for us. So trying to make it how much of a better experience they can get. Personally, you know, families become my priority. I went through, when I was in academics, work. I got all the titles in the world. I got a CV longer than I don't know what. But you get kind of lost in the shuffle with your family and your own health and personal well-being. So my two goals for 2018 is to do family a priority. And so with my girlfriend, doing date nights. She had 2 kids, so my 2 step-kids, like, we moved in together, spending time with them, however we have to do it. We can't say, hey, we're tired, or, you know, I'd rather do this than that. So it's actually been cool, because most of the stuff, it makes me allowed to be like a kid. When I'm not a kid and I shouldn't be doing those things, but I'm doing it with them, so I get away with them. And then with family, spending more time. My grandparents are getting older. I got a chance to take them last year on a trip that they always dreamed to Rome and a Mediterranean cruise, so it was pretty cool. So now I'm kind of enjoying that, but making sure that it's a fine balance, because at the end of the day, you can have all the money in the world, but you have no one to share it with or anything to do with it. It's not going to go anywhere. So those are my goals.
Well, the final score is 0 out of 4, but
hey, this is how we started off.
But you're still a winner, so the reason you could bring in, this is like you know, last second, you know, gift baskets, so hopefully for the next episode, it'll be a little bit better.
Hey, that works.
But what we do have is pretty much every item that you tried.
Okay.
So.
It'll get better.
It'll get better.
It'll get better. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, but maybe next time you'll start, you know, like when you try food, you'll be like, okay, now I wonder like where this could actually
come for
from,
sure.
You know?
I mean, honestly, it's going to trigger me to go to some of these places. Brazil's the only one that might have been there. I don't know why, but it's all right.
But yeah, so guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have anything that you guys want us to try in this episode or in the show, feel free to comment down below. If you want to see us interview anybody, also feel free to comment down below. And again, thank you, Nestor, for coming in and stopping by and trying this food.
Yeah, no, thanks. And honestly, give a shout out to these guys. They're doing a great job in terms of promoting Madison. There's a lot of cool things here that the younger folks want to see, that us, I guess I'll throw myself on the older crowd, that we don't think of outside the box. So make sure you tune in. I told him before, I didn't realize we were trying this stuff out. He sent me a text prior to this, hey, you have food allergies. I thought it was weird. I thought maybe he was going to take me out to lunch. So I told him no spicy food. So glad he didn't put that on there. So follow him for sure.
And also feel free to please follow Nestor and also see, like, you know, like.
Yeah, come on in to Carbon Health. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Follow our athletes. Just come in and check it out. Honestly, we welcome people to just come try. There's a lot of things that you guys don't know about. So come in and just check it out.
Yeah. So guys, thanks for watching and have a good one. Take care.